The purchasing processing time includes the period, measured in workdays, according to the factory calendar, that is required to convert a purchase requisition into a purchase order and output it. This time is defined for each plant in customizing, that is plant parameters. The plant delivery time covers the period from order issue to goods receipt from the vendor. This time is maintained in calendar days in the material master, info record, and/or contract. The goods receipt processing time, or GR processing time, covers the period from the goods receipt to the availability of the material in the warehouse. It is maintained in working days, according to the factory calendar in the material master, and/or on the MRP1 tab, in the Material Master record, you maintain, among other things, the following data. The MRP controller. The MRP controller field contains a number, which represents a person, or a group of persons, responsible for material planning for the material. The data, related to the MRP procedure. The MRP type controls which MRP procedure is used to plan a material, and which other MRP parameters can, or must be maintained, in the Material Master record. For example, if a material is to be planned, using the manual reorder point procedure, you select the standard MRP type VB. The system then requires you to enter a reorder point value. The data, related to the lot sizing procedure. The lot sizing procedure determines which lot sizing procedure the system uses, within materials planning, to calculate the quantity to be procured or produced. The lot sizing procedure also controls which additional parameters can, or must be maintained, in the Material Master record. For example, if you choose the lot sizing procedure value FX, that is fixed order quantity, the system requires you enter a fixed lot size, in the corresponding In reorder point planning, the stock available is calculated as follows. Inventory, plus on-order stock, that is purchase orders, firm planned orders, firm purchase requisitions. If the available MRP stock is less than the reorder point, there is a shortage. The shortage quantity is the difference between the reorder point and the available stock. MRP procedures in consumption-based planning includes reorder point planning. The system calculates the net requirements by checking whether the existing stock at MRP area level, that is, total of available stock and fixed receipts, is below the reorder level. The reorder point is defined for a material in the master record. If the available stock falls below the reorder point, procurement must be triggered. In reorder point planning, a distinction is made between manual and automatic reorder point planning. In manual reorder point planning, the MRP controller defines the reorder point. In automatic reorder point planning, the system automatically calculates the reorder point on the basis of the forecast. Forecast-based planning. The system calculates future requirements using the forecast program based on consumption values. Time-phased planning. The system calculates future demand by estimating it using the forecasting program based on consumption values. In this procedure, however, planning is only carried out at fixed times in a particular planning cycle. The figure shows 3 examples of how you can define planning levels within a plant. Example of plant 1010. This corresponds to the default configuration. The entire plant stock is taken into account during planning, and every material maintained in this plant is planned uniformly within the plant. There are no specific settings required. Example of plant 2020. The storage location 0002 is planned separately from the rest of the plant. To fulfill this requirement, you must create an MRP area for storage location and assign it to the storage location 0002. The plant MRP area is reduced then by exactly this storage location. Since the remaining storage locations are planned together, they can remain assigned to the plant MRP area. No further settings are required for this. Example of plant 3030. This plant is divided into 3 MRP areas, 2 groups of storage locations, each corresponding to a storage location, MRP area, and an additional MRP area for a subcontractor. In addition to defining the MRP levels, you must fulfill the following prerequisites before performing requirements planning within a plant. The plant parameters for the corresponding plant must be maintained in customizing. These are some plant-specific parameters, such as number ranges, processing time, stocks to be taken into account, and so on. In the material master record, you have to maintain the MRP data for materials that are subject to automatic planning. MRP, relevant material data, is maintained at plant level. If required, MRP area data must also be maintained. Reorder point planning is based on a comparison of the available stock, that is, total of warehouse stock in the MRP area, and fixed receipts, with the reorder point. If the available stock is lower than the reorder point, procurement is triggered. The reorder point is made up of the expected average material requirements during the replenishment lead time and the safety stock. Accordingly, the following values must be taken into account when determining the reorder point: safety stock, previous consumption, or the future requirement, replenishment lead time. The safety stock has the task of covering any additional material consumption during the replenishment lead time, as well as normal requirements in the event of delivery delays. During the planning run, the system performs the net requirements calculation. For externally procured materials, the procurement type of the material is F. Sourcing considers valid sources of supply, in the following order. 1. Scheduling agreements. When sourcing determines a valid scheduling agreement, MRP Live always creates schedule lines. Instead, classic MRP takes into account the creation indicator, maintained in the initial screen of the planning run, which controls whether or not schedule lines should be created. 2. Contracts. When sourcing determines a valid contract, MRP creates a purchase requisition assigned to this contract. 3. Info records, with the automatic sourcing indicator. If source determination does not determine a scheduling agreement, or a contract, but a purchasing info record relevant for automatic sourcing, a purchase requisition assigned to this source is created. For externally procured stock material, that is procurement type F, in the material master record, the following possible sources of supply exist. Purchasing info record. The purchasing info record, or info record for short, is part of the master data of purchasing. It contains data on the relationship between a material or material group and a vendor, such as price, delivery time, special agreements, and so on. The info record data is maintained at purchasing organization level, or purchasing organization, or plant level. The conditions and other data stored in the info record are used as default values in purchasing documents, such as purchase orders. Outline agreement item. An outline purchase agreement is a long-term agreement between a purchasing organization and a vendor covering the supply of materials or the provision of services, subject to predetermined conditions. These apply for a predefined period and a predefined total purchase quantity, or a certain total purchase value. The two types of outline agreement are contracts and scheduling agreements. Plant. An external procurement can be made by stock transfer from another plant. In this case, you do not need to maintain any special data in purchasing, because normally an internal settlement will take place. However, it is also possible to create plants as vendors. To do this, a plant assignment must be entered when maintaining the business partner. In the static lot sizing procedures, future shortfalls are not taken into account. That is, if there is a shortage, an order proposal is created for the amount of the static lot size, without checking when a future shortfall will occur. For the exact lot size, or lot-for-lot order quantity, an order proposal is created for the amount of the shortage. If there are several issues for one day that lead to the shortage, only one order proposal is created for the shortage quantity on this date. In the case of a fixed lot size, an order proposal is created for the fixed lot size if there is a shortage. If this is not sufficient to cover requirements, the system generates several order proposals for the same date. When replenishing up to the maximum stock level, the system creates an order proposal for the amount required to reach the maximum stock level defined in the material master record.